Today, we are specifically talking about samples and how to do samples and the whole point about samples. So step one of our system is getting samples into the hands of any of our customers. So that is the very first thing that we do to help people. Well, let me just say this. It's our very first objective is to get samples into someone's mouth, not into their hands, but in their mouth. One of the things that we learned right away with this company is that the number one best way to grow your customer base, which then becomes your team, is to get them samples because they have no concept. They have no idea about our product at all. Our product is so unusual and so new. They're like, I don't know, what is this? Is this a gummy? Is it an edible? Is it a liquid? What exactly is this? And what's cool about giving them a sample is they get the mouth feel and they get a try and taste experience. But that is all the purpose of a sample is. So first and foremost, who do you give samples to? You're giving samples to new people. Maybe they're people that you know, or maybe that they're cold audience, but you're giving the samples to people that have never tried the product before. Is this an opportunity for them to try a different kind of product? Maybe they're using Stop and Slide and they want to know about Grow and GTS. Would you want to send them some of that product? Well, maybe, but the reality is that the reason you're sending them a sample is just for flavor and for mouthfeel. They're not actually typically going to have an experience. Some people do. Yes, I know that some people do have an experience with our product immediately, but for the most part, by and large, it's just for them to taste the product. So I don't typically send out a whole lot of different kinds of product, and I don't typically give people more products again and again. If they say, I'd really love to try Grow and GTS, I would say something along the lines of, have you tried that before? If they're already using Stop and Slide and they want to try Grow in GTS, I would say something like, oh, there's a special on that coming up. But I probably would not mail them more samples. Okay. It's really just kind of a one-time, one-shot deal. How many samples do you give out when you give out the product? Well, that's a really good question. And I'm going to show you. Every box of product that we get, and we purchase these ourselves, right? You're purchasing the product yourself. The company doesn't provide these, but we do buy them at our wholesale discount. And then of course we can get them on sale sometimes, but every box inside has two sleeves, cards, whatever you want to call these. And in these, you have your choice of how many samples you want to give. I know some people will give one, some people will do two. Some people will cut these into strips of 3, and some people will even cut these into strips of 5. Remember, every single box has 30 candies. So if you're giving out one candy per box, how many samples can you give? 30. 2 samples per box, you're getting 15 samples. If you do 3 per box, you have 10 samples. If you're giving 5 per box, that gives you 6 samples. So you have to decide when you purchase the product, how many of these am I going to give out? Because you're purchasing them. So you have to make that decision. And you also have to decide how many of each product that you are willing to give. So let's say somebody says, well, I want to try all of the dailies. I want to try every one of the dailies. You have to decide, is this somebody that you think will buy all of the dailies? Or is this somebody who you think, well, maybe I'll send you a couple and you can try those and see how that goes and we'll go from there. This is a try and taste sample. They may have a solution, they may have a response, they may have an experience, but not necessarily. Okay. So I'm letting you know that. Next up, who's sending out the samples? Who's sending out the samples to the person that wants to try the samples? You are, right? The company doesn't send out samples. Your upline, your senior business partner, your corporate director, none of those people send out samples. You send out the samples. Okay. So that's why we're talking today, so that I can show you some of the tips and tricks that I've figured out over the last couple of years that have made it easier for me to send these out, so that you guys know exactly how to do it, so that it's the best and most cost-effective way to do it. If you are meeting somebody, and Brenda and Linda are really good at this when they meet people in person. When Brenda and Linda meet people in person, what they always have on hand is what? They always have on hand a brochure. And you can get these brochures from me. The brochure that you're going to get from me is going to be blank on the back. In this section right here, see this section right here on the back is white. That's where you can use a Sharpie like this to write in your name and your phone number and the link to your website, which is usually your first name .healthydnacandy.com, right? You can put that on the back. You can also have these custom printed. When you get them custom printed like this, which all corporate directors do, you get 1,000 of them for $260. So these are not provided, but I can get you these. But when you want them custom printed, they're additional. Okay, how do you use a brochure? And I've done this brochure training before, but I love showing this brochure training. So I'm going to show that to you in just a second. I'm going to show you how to use a brochure. But when you meet somebody in person, what are you going to do? You're going to ask them or talk to them about what they have going on. A lot of times you can see somebody limping. So you're going to be giving them a slide or a stop for their pain, right? Like you see them limping, you see them grab their lower back or their neck, say, oh, I got something that might help you. Open up the box. Here's the product. The product may or may not be perforated. If it's perforated, you can do that and break it apart, right? Do that and break it apart. And you're seeing the person and you're going to do what? You're going to pop the candy out of the aluminum foil and put it in their hand or their mouth. Right into their mouth. If they stand there and hold it, have them put it in their mouth right there in front of you. And then say to them, don't chew, let it dissolve. Come put it under your tongue. You can demonstrate it. This is fun. This is candy, right? Have a good time. Give them one, show them how to use it, whatever, whatever. Then say, the one that I gave you is in this brochure. Have your Sharpie. The Sharpie that I like is the one that has a click top. So I don't lose the lid in my purse. I've done that before. What you're going to do is you're going to take your brochure. You probably have already written your information on the back. I gave the guy slide, right? I'm going to circle with my Sharpie, slide here what it does, and slide down here what the ingredients are. Going to fold it backward like that so he can see it. And then on the front, I'm going to write Mark. This is inflammation, SLD, something like that, like right all over it. On the back, I'm going to say arrow. I'm Julia. This is my contact information. I mark up these brochures. The more you treat the brochure like a tool and less like something sacred, the more they will treat it like that too. Then you can do something else. You could go even further. You could say that's 25 for 30 day, right? Big note on there. Make it big. Make it so he knows. On this side, you could go, and like I told you, Mark, there's no milk. Let me see. It's dairy free. I'm going to look here for dairy free. It's dairy free. Mark this baby up. Treat this like a tool. Write on it, whatever, whatever. Okay. This is when you're seeing the person in person. You're going to treat it like that. You could even say, remember, I told you, which would you choose? Not the pill. You want the candy. Really play with it, right? Really play with it. Okay. Brenda, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, that was good.
Okay. I want you to jump in if there's something I'm forgetting. You are good at this. How about you, Linda? Is there anything you want to add? She might not be there right this moment. Okay. You guys jump in if you need to. Okay. Next up, let's say that you are going to mail this to someone. You meet them online. There a relative lives in another state, another town, 5 streets over, live next door, but you can't connect with them and you're going to mail them something. This is where we start to get really, really interesting and creative. I buy my envelopes. They are plastic and very thin. They are not the padded ones. I buy the envelopes that are plastic envelopes to mail out my samples. They're 6 by 9 inches. I buy them on Amazon. I usually buy, I think, either a couple hundred or a couple thousand at a time. They're very cost effective. I also purchased the larger ones like this, and I purchased them in different colors, so I know which is which. They are plastic. This is how I do a sample for someone. I'm going to use this envelope. I'm going to send them a brochure. I'm going to do something very similar. I've talked to the person, or I've found out what they want. I take my brochure, I turn it inside out. I'm going to send this person slide. I'm going to use not only my Sharpie, but I'm going to use my highlighter pen, and I'm going to highlight. This is the pain one, just like that, and keep it. And I'm mailing it inside out. I'm not mailing it like a traditional brochure. Okay. I'm going to turn it inside out like that. I take the candy that I'm sending, tear it apart. 3. I usually use 3. I go the extra mile of taking a tiny Post-it note and writing on the back, pain. Okay. And sticking it to it. I stick it to it. I stick the Post-it note that says pain to the candy one. And I drop it into the brochure like that. I made it like a hot dog, right? I just dropped it in right like that. I might stick in another brochure if I have something. If I don't have anything, I'm not going to. I'm just going to mail them this. This is a perfectly good self-contained unit. The only other thing I'm going to include, remember these? These are the letters. We have this in our chat. This one's mine. It says Healthy DNA Candy on it. But the team one says, I think I'm out of the team ones. That's why I don't have one to show you. The team one, yeah, I'm out of them, says Team No Limits at the top. Where this one says Healthy DNA Candy, yours will say Team No Limits right up here. And you can edit it. You can edit it. You can retype this. You can do whatever. But this is available to you as a PDF to print it as is, where it says that up here in the top. This answers every question for the person you're mailing it to. It says, before you try the candy, please watch the video. What's the video that we have them watch? Dr. Granite, 9-minute video. Join our VIP group and post a picture of your goodies into the group. How is your body feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? Then check 30 minutes later, then 2 hours later. How is your body feeling? Do this daily until the drops are gone. Frequently ask questions about the candy. Let the lozenge candy dissolve in your mouth. Some people even place them under their tongue. Please don't chew. We don't chew them because we want the 100%. I mean, it goes on and it explains the whole thing. If you haven't seen this letter, that's okay. It's in our chat. It's also on Team No Limits, and I'll make sure that it's, you know, I can find it again and bump it to the top so that you guys can find this. I take this and fold it in half like this. I never fold it in half like this. I fold it in half like this. You can even write the person's name across the top in a magic marker or something so they know it's for them, right? You could even draw pictures on this to say, make sure you read this part, mark it up. That goes in with the brochure hot dog, okay? Those 2 things. Last thing I do, and I bet Andrew can tell me what the last thing I do is because he's already gotten a sample from me. I use a Post-it note, or if I have some, I'll use thank you notes. These are Thank you, notes. And I will handwrite a note to the person. What should you say on the note? The most important thing you can say on the note is what? Their name. Anything else you say really doesn't matter. Doris, let me know when you get this. Enjoy the samples. Doris, thanks. Doris, hi, it's me, Julia. So glad we could share that. As long as her name is big. Diane, hi. Let me know you got this, right? One of the things that works really great is to say, let me know you got this. Not call me and tell me, blah, let me know you got this. I don't know why, but that works great. Okay. Mailing. We're down. I've got a few minutes left. I got 7 minutes left. So most of the time we are mailing these out. Who's mailing these? Are you mailing these or is your upline mailing these? Raise your hand if it's me. Raise your hand if it's, raise your hand if it's you, if it's yourself. It's yourself, right? You're mailing them out, right? I'm mailing them to my customers. You're mailing them to your customers, your whoever. So thinner envelope works better than padded envelope. It weighs less. Number 2, I don't need to put in a lot of stuff. I used to do that. I used to mail a whole bunch of stuff. All it did was make the postage more expensive. The brochure, the note, and the Post-it note and the candy, that's perfect, right? It's perfect. Now, I went on to Amazon or eBay. I can't remember which one, but it was one or the other. And I got the postage scale that was the cheapest one I could find. It was like $5.99. This is a digital postage scale. I have to keep it plugged in. It's not even battery powered. I have to keep, so I can't even turn it on because it's away from its thing. But this I use to weigh whatever I'm mailing. I print out from my printer here on my desk, which is not a good printer. I print out the postage onto the back of the packing lists of my product. I recycle the paper. Okay, so you're printing out the postage onto a piece of paper, and I use regular tape that I get from the office supply store, Staples, or Walmart or Costco. I tape it to the back of this. I use for postage, for discounted postage, a free website. What is it? A free website called Pirate Ship. Pirate Ship is free. You go on, you create a free account. Okay. When you create this free account and log in, they're going to have you put in your credit card information under settings. You're going to have payment method. Choose how you will pay for the postage. You're going to put in your credit card. Then you go to the word ship, and it's so cool. You're going to hit this thing right here, create a single package. And then you can hit paste address. I do that every time. And I either cut and paste the person's address or I just type it in. Okay. I put in the address. And the next thing I do is I come down here, and sometimes I change the shipping, but usually the ship to is always the same. It's my name and address, me and DJ right there. And then right down here, this is where it gets fun. You get to select what kind of package. Well, I am only using envelopes. So I click this. See how there's a caret over here? I click this and it says envelope, padded envelope, poly bag, soft bag, or bag in a box, box in a bag. Well, I'm using I don't know, an envelope. So I just click envelope. These guys, these green ones are 6 by 9 inches, 6 by 9. and then I weigh my package. Typically, when I'm sending out a sample, it weighs between 1.9 ounces and 3.2 ounces. So I'll put that in like 3.2. And then I hit get rates. So let's put in my real address so it shows you the next page. If you put in somebody's email address and phone number, it will actually let them know that the package is on its way too. That's pretty cool. And then you can put in their phone number. I think the phone number is just in case there's a problem reaching them, but you can put all of that information in. So I put that in, there's the weight. Then I hit this big green button at the bottom, get rates, okay? When I go to this page, it's going to give me a couple of options. So first of all, I can check to make sure the address is correct. If it's not correct, I can hit this previous step button and go back, or I can cancel and delete the label entirely. Then I can choose shipment details, and it tells me everything that I need to know. It tells me the dimensions of the envelope, the kind of envelope, the weight, all that stuff here. But this is where I'm going to choose how I want it mailed. And this is where I think a lot of people have missed some steps. Right here, it says, do you want it to be the best way, the cheapest way, the postal service, or UPS? See that? I've got my choice. So I put in the package, 3.2 ounces, and it tells me ground advantage through the postal service, the best way is $3.59. But check this out. You can see in small print here, if I took this to the post office and had them mail it for me, they would charge me $4.75. But because I'm posting it at home, it's $3.59. So it's going to save me $1, not quite $1.25, $1.14, something like that, $1.16, right? I'm going to say per package. Now, I can change this. That was best. I could change it to cheapest. Let's watch what happens when I press the buttons. If I do UPS, it's going to cost me $5.53. If I took this to the UPS store, it would cost me $12.01. Through the postal service, $3.59. The cheapest way is still $3.59. The best way is still $3.59. See, even down here, it says switch to UPS for $1.94. Okay, so I scroll down. It's going to tell me the day that I'm going to ship it. I could change the day if I think I'm going to mail it next week or something. Email recipients, I could uncheck that if I didn't want to email the person. I just leave it that way. Total cost, and it says you're going to be charged that on this credit card. Show payment details. So I could even change the payment right there, and then I can buy the label. When I hit buy label, it's going to print on my desktop printer. I cut it out, which you can see I cut out I got a lot of scraps of paper here because I cut out the label. I print 2 labels per sheet. You can hardly see 2 labels per sheet. And then I manually stick it onto here. I don't buy special labels. I don't buy special tape. I don't pay retail for shipping, but it's still going to cost me $3.60 to mail this out, plus the sample, plus the envelope. So why am I going through all of that and telling you all of that? You want to really be aware of what you're mailing out, how much this should be. It needs to be a good choice for the person. It needs to be a good choice for you. You know, it needs to be a person who's really going to try it, who really wants to sample it, you know, that kind of thing. You need to make sure they know what it's for. That's why I started putting the Post-it note on there, so that they would remember this is for pain, this is for sleep, this is for mood, this is for whatever, right? All of that. But the part where you send them the note and say to them, please message me, is because You want to have that communication the minute they get it. Oh, you got it. That's yours. No, you got it. You got it. Excellent. I can't wait to hear from you. Remember, don't chew. Remember to read that. Remember, watch that video. Whatever it is, just this is development of relationship, right? Hey, did you take a picture of it yet and put it in my VIP group? That really would help me out a lot. Make sure you say that. Get them back to your VIP group. Awesome. Okay. Why do I not mail this in a regular envelope with postage? This is postage that I paid for and printed out in year 1. Why is it not finished on this thing? Why did I stop doing that? Can anyone guess? Because the person I was mailing it to was getting postage due notices. Because the post office wants me to use a 6x9 and do this and not mail it in a this. I have these. I bought special colors. I use red. I use yellow. And when I mail them in this and I put this into here, where is it? When I put this little guy into here, a lot of times they were coming back. You can wing it. You can try it. I don't blame you for trying it. I decided against that. What did you say, Brenda? What did Brenda say? Whoop. I'm looking for messages.
No, I was just answering the chat since you have to go.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Oh, it is time to go. Okay. Would this be beneficial for people sending a lot of envelopes with only a letter in it? No, pirate ship is not good for just that. We, if you're going to do direct mail with just a letter, like your husband's business or your sister's business or your Christmas cards. No, pirate ship is not for that. It is not for that. But it is great for multiples. You're absolutely 100% right, Brenda. It is amazing for multiples. There's even a video you can watch if you're going to mail out like 100 at a time or 10 at a time, ways to speed it up. You can watch a YouTube video on that. Okay. This pirate ship is not a network marketing company. There's no fee for it. It's nothing like that. So like you don't need a code or anything. Just go there and use it. Sample, try it first one time just to see how it goes. I think you'll be amazed at how fast it works. You don't need anything special. And this is going to speed up your business tremendously. On average, it costs about $3.60 to $4.60 to mail out a package to people across the country. And it's really a great way to build your business. But follow-up is necessary for sure. Brenda, is there anything you want to add? It's 12:33 and I don't want to keep everybody late. I know we had a hard stop. Is there anything else you'd like to share before
No,
we?
that's good.
All right. Bye, Facebook.